Hey y'all, today we are fixing to make my very first YouTube video and I'm so excited. I hope y'all enjoyed this content, and if you do, please feel free to subscribe to @fixingthegarden. And I wanted to start out my first video with showing what's blooming in my garden here in zone 8B, Georgia. So one of my favorites of the garden this time of year is the Gaura, and really the Gaura is great for multiple seasons, but it's really looking its best right now, all fresh and flowered out from the winter. It is perennial here, and so it is semi-evergreen, but the clumps, these plants aren't but a year old, and the clumps have probably quadrupled in size. So I definitely will be pruning these or dividing these next year before they bloom out. Next thing we have here is Scentlandia. It is Itea virginica. It is a native name species. I have 3 of them here in our garden, and it's a really good example of how your light and moisture levels in your garden will create a different result in your plants. Here we have it in a dappled sun situation, in which it is a little bit drier over here. It gets afternoon sun, so the really hot afternoon sun. If you look here, we have some water sprouts, and I left them because, well, the other 2 plants that we have are actually taller than this one over here. With it getting a little bit more shade and less water, it's not as vigorous. So in order to kind of allow it to look closer to the same size, I decided to leave the water sprouts. But hopefully next year I will cut those back, hopefully having gotten some height over the season. Here's my second Scentlandia plant. It is a little bit smaller. It is only gets morning sun, and then it's in shade the rest of the time. It doesn't have the water sprouts as bad, but what it does have, if you look right here, it has suckering happening a little bit away. We've had some suckering as far away as the plants over here. So this is something to keep in mind if you're interested in Scentlandia. And here's my third one. Is the healthiest and happiest of all of the Scentlandias. It is in a rather moist area, but it gets full sun all day long, and it is quite large compared to the other ones. This is Cat's Pajamas Nepeta, also from Proven Winners. Again, we've had these for about a year, and they're at the end of their bloom cycle. But they have been in bloom already for over a month, even though we're already at the end of April. So I'll be cutting this back really soon, getting ready for it to rebloom. And here we have double play Doozie. It's a Spirea from Proven Winners. I just love how many blooms are on this plant. Y'all, we got this late last summer, and so there wasn't really a lot of blooms on it. We did get to experience some of its fall color, and I am so impressed on how it looks this spring. It started out all of the new growth. Let me see if I can still find some. There's a tiny bit here. Has this kind of dark red burgundy foliage on it. There's some right here, but it was like all over at the top here, and within a few weeks it now is covered in blossoms, and it is said to be a reblooming plant that blooms all season long. I'm not sure how long that lasts, but I tell y'all, it makes such a statement. So if y'all see this one, we weren't sure I will say this, I wasn't sure if I would like this plant or not because I am not big on reds, and I'm not sure if it picks up on camera or not, but to me it's much more pink than red. So I was very glad to see that we actually stuck it in the spot where it's a little tight spot because I wasn't sure I would keep it or not. But now I'm thinking I may need to find a space for maybe 2 more. This one is also in the double play line. It's double play blue Kazoo, but interesting enough, it has a different Latin name. So I'm not really sure. I have some confusion on whether this blooms on new wood or old wood. So it is Spirea media as its Latin name, which typically blooms on old wood. But I don't know if Proven Winners has changed that in their development of this plant. The other double play series bloom on new wood. But anyways, back to the plant. As you can see, it's a little different from the double play Doozie in that it's got this kind of more of a blue-green foliage, and then its blooms are white. And I'm sorry that I didn't get out here sooner because you can't really see how beautiful white the colors are. They age to more of an antique-y kind of a ivory white. But when they are fresh blooms, it is stark. I'll see if I have a picture I can insert in the video here of what it looks like with fresher blooms. But I love it. Loves the spot. It's got and it does need a little bit more shade. We had it in some sun and it was struggling a little bit, and so we moved it over here where it got just a little bit more shade and it seems to be happier. This one back here gets quite a bit of shade, and I'm not sure that that's not too much shade. It's not blooming as much, but we'll see what it does this season. And either way, I really like it right here. It fills in nicely. I think complements the things that we have growing around it. This time of year has lots of things blooming, and here is Baptisia blue Bubbly. I don't know if y'all can see, but it is covered in all sorts of pollinators. Baptisia has a really long taproot, so it's very drought resistant, and we really don't do too much to it. At the end of the year, we will cut it back to the ground, and it looks like it will not come back, and then it takes off, and it almost looks like these asparagus little spears as it emerges from the ground. The only thing I wish was that it would stay in bloom a little bit longer, but when it is in bloom, you surely enjoy everything that it has to offer. Here we have a couple of more of them in the landscape. And they do get a good bit of shade, even though they really love the sun. So if you have a good full sun spot, make room for some Baptisia. You can't go wrong. It does look a little bit pitiful when they're in the containers, but if you'll bear with it, by the second year, you'll be really excited that you got it. Here we have 2 Baptisia Pink Lemonade. As you can see, they're not quite as mature as the Blue Bubbly that we have, but I will be patient, and I know that they will look as glorious. They're they're the deluxe of the Baptisia from Proven Winners, and I know that if I'm patient that they will look just as glorious as the Blue Bubbly does. I love how it's starting to intertwine with the Gaura behind it. And if you'll see down the calyx, the colors go from a really pretty light, very creamy yellow to a mauvey pink. This is part of my Lavender Taffeta from Proven Winners. It is a Monarda or a bee balm. We have one of them that's really wanting to show out before the other ones with its blooms. Here, the other ones you can tell are just so close to popping the buds. Again, we've had this plant, this is its second year, and we actually took from this one up here and divided it and added a little bit right here to fill in. I think we can probably take a little bit more. So we have them on both sides of our walkway here. Those are closed. And you can see some just emerging. So hopefully in future videos y'all will see it really showing out again. This is Opening Act Blush. It is a Pholx, a hybrid garden Pholx that is a dwarf variety from Proven Winners. And it will bloom just about until the last frost. I will come in and deadhead it a couple of times, but it just keeps blooming and blooming and blooming. So if you see the Opening Act Pholx at your garden centers, pick it up. Or you can order directly from Proven Winners or any of their affiliate gardeners. And this is just starting out. This is a 2025 introduction from Proven Winners. It is a Salvia called Unplugged White. And right behind it we have a Clematis or a Clematis. And I don't know the variety. I got it from Lowe's probably 4 years ago. This area gets plagued by aphids pretty bad, and so we've struggled over the years, but it's looking really great right now. Clematis likes its roots to be shaded, which these are not right now, but it does get shade from about noon on. This is BloomStruck Hydrangea from the Endless Summer line. It is a Hydrangea Macrophylla, which means that it blooms on old wood, but it's also a reblooming hydrangea, so it also, this variety, blooms on new wood. As you can see, we have a few blooms happening mostly at the bottom part of this plant. It really enjoys its spot here. We have it shaded nicely from these tea olives, which have already bloomed and smelled great this season. And then the house shades it in the afternoon, but it gets just enough sun for it to really take off and love its spot here. A lot of people struggle with these hydrangeas because they can be a little temperamental, but this one has done really great in this location for us. That's what we have blooming here at the end of April, beginning of May in Zone 8B, Georgia. If you like this content and would like to see more of what's blooming in our yard, please subscribe and like this video. We would really appreciate it. Y'all have a good day.